Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be reacting to the brand new opening that Boruto just released, and from what I'm seeing, it's already looking really good. To be honest, the only thing that I really seen was Boruto versus Kawaki. I usually don't necessarily do every single opening reaction, but because of course they had Boruto with his karma seal and Kawaki with his karma seal, this had to be necessary. One of the things that I'm probably going to talk about a little bit later in this video is of course this right here potentially being a sign of what's next to come. Of course, we've all been speculating that the code actuation arc is probably going to start very soon. And soon after that, the code actual arc. That matter of fact, that right there just sounded bad. The actual manga code arc is going to be adapted into the Boruto anime after the code actuation arc. And if that is actually the case, we're supposed to be getting these scenes hopefully soon. Supposedly we heard leaks that is supposed to come out early 2023, but again, I'm going to talk about that after the review. So the Kawaki and Boruto relationship is still, it seems like it's very heavy. I don't think that's a good thing, because obviously we were all anticipating the time when Kawaki inevitably goes against Naruto and Boruto, and then we have to figure out exactly why that is. But in this particular situation, it seems like Kawaki and the family are still good. Yo, they always have this scene of Boruto staring. Nothing really comes from this. To be honest, it's a very cool scene. It's a very cool scene with the wind blowing and everything like that. But I personally believe this right here is just the writer saying like, yo, let's just waste a solid 3-4 seconds right here, bruh. Yo, if they actually have something like this, by the way, I don't really think this right here is actually going to be in the anime, by the way. This is, if you guys want my actual predictions, like, I don't necessarily foresee Boruto sparring with Shikidai, potentially Mitsuki, but Shikidai and other side characters along the likes of that. But I would definitely like to see a sparring arc. I wouldn't even call it an arc. Let's say like 2-3 episodes of just a character sparring, see exactly how strong they are. I talked about this in my podcast. Prior to arcs, usually we have an idea of how strong characters are. In Boruto, we have absolutely no idea how strong Naruto is, no idea how strong Sasuke is, no idea how strong peak Boruto is. Well, technically now we do know, because he did a fight against Kawaki a couple episodes ago, or last episode, which I think is a very good thing. But things like that, just so we could see how strong these characters are. Like, for example, we don't know how strong base Mitsuki is compared to base Boruto. If we do eventually have like a sparring scene with base Boruto versus base Mitsuki, it would be so much better just going into an arc knowing like, hey, this is how strong Mitsuki is. And same thing goes for the other side characters as well. The Saradas, the Shikidais, the Chochos, the Unojins, etc, etc. Oh my goodness, here is the GOAT. Here is the GOAT. All right, so it's a Byakugan. I don't necessarily think that anybody like kind of questioned if it was a Byakugan or not. One of the things that we do have to anticipate is, of course, when Boruto does not have the horn, will it actually still be a Byakugan? Because if you guys aren't necessarily fully like briefed when it comes to the Byakugan and Jogan phenomenon in Boruto, in the Boruto anime and in the Boruto manga, the first scene and the first chapter of the anime and manga respectively, they had different dojutsus. Boruto had a Byakugan in the manga and Boruto had a Jogan in the anime. So of course, every time that we see a Byakugan in the manga, it could possibly be a Jogan. So I think it's less than a 10% chance that it's going to eventually be a Jogan. I think it's highly unlikely, but again, you still have to confirm it. But regardless, this right here looks really clean. This right here looks clean. Oh my goodness, they did not have to do that, bro. They did not have to do. And he had that line. I don't think we ever seen Boruto's fist when he had his karma seal, and this is the first time that we actually seen this line. Imagine I go on Twitter in a couple hours and somebody just gives me a screenshot of Boruto with his closed fist in a line going through it. But oh, they had the transition of moment, the big Momoshiki with Boruto in his hand. This right here is what I'm talking about, bruh. Make my guy look like he been through the trenches. Make my guy look like he actually been through some tough times. Make my guy look like he about to put somebody on a t-shirt. Oh, they got Kawaki. They tried to have it go quick. They got Kawaki. Oh my goodness. Who thought that this right here was actually going to happen? Matter of fact, I'm going to take that back, man, because there is a bunch of signs saying that this right here is actually going to happen. There is an announcement coming in literally 2 weeks, and also there are people kind of leaking the fact that the code actuation arc was starting. But regardless of that, no one really thought that we were going to get the full-blown KawaShiki versus BoruShiki fight in the actual opening. This right here is actually insane. You got Kawaki's dojutsu right here. Of course, as of right now, he only has one triangle, but eventually it's probably going to get to more and more and more. It's kind of interesting, mainly because in this particular frame right here, it makes it seem like his eye is red. I understand that's probably just like an error or something like that, so it's not necessarily a big deal, but because this is the first frame, we got to analyze everything, so it's possible that in a couple frames his eye is still red. Now we got to talk about it again. Oh my goodness. Okay. So 3 triangles now. Okay. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know exactly what this dojutsu is. It's the same exact dojutsu that Ishiki Otsuki had. Oh my goodness. This is going to be absolutely insane. Oh, they got Sasuke. They got Sasuke out here. Wait, bump Sasuke. They have the GOAT. Big car in the cut to the left. He should be on the right. And here goes Sasuke. Oh my god, my guy Sasuke eating rice cakes. Hopefully Sasuke's gonna be a lot more in this particular arc than he was in the manga arc. By the way, I'm not saying that Sasuke was not in the manga arc. He was definitely there, but I definitely like to see him have a bit more parts, a bit more scenes. I understand that Sasuke is a bit more of a scarce character, mainly because every time that we see Sasuke, we expect it to be something big. But in a particular arc like this, I definitely love to see Sasuke a lot more. All right, so that's pretty much it. The actual opening itself, I thought it was very, very enjoyable. One of the things that a lot of people kind of look at me sideways for is with the fact that I skip the majority of the openings every single episode. So I'll probably watch an opening probably like 3 or 4 times in total. In this particular situation, I'll probably watch it a bit more just because of the sheer fact that Kawaki and Boruto are there. So when I watch the actual opening, I don't necessarily look for the entertainment. Of course, I understand that right there is extremely important. Tokyo Ghoul is extremely important for their opening. But in my personal opinion, especially for Boruto, I'm looking for the big stuff. I'm looking for the heavy hitters. And of course, in this particular opening, we got a lot of that. So I'm going to absolutely love it. We got Kawaki and Boruto. Now, again, one of the things that I was a little bit skeptical and scared of at this particular point, I do not want it to be a situation where, hey, we get to see that particular fight, the Boruto and Kawaki fight, in like 3 months or something like that. Absolutely not. I think even though a lot of people want to get to that point, we have to pace ourselves as the Boruto anime. We cannot have another year straight of anime canon. I apologize. That is not going to cut it. So eventually we have to find a way to actually slow the situation down. Maybe eventually, and maybe at this particular time it might not matter, mainly because the manga is probably going to go into a time skip relatively soon, hopefully soon. Because of that, we could probably just do a speed run of this particular arc and of course fill in a bunch of stuff in the middle of the time skip, or potentially even like post this particular arc. If they do actually go into a time skip after that particular arc, maybe they can fill in a bunch of stuff that'll make it very, very interesting, and have Boruto train with Sasuke, have Sarada train with Naruto, things along the lines of that. And I think a lot of people would actually like to see Boruto and Sarada, even Mitsuki, Kawaki, and etc. go throughout the years, the 3-year time skip that we're probably going to get to see in the Boruto manga when they actually do come back a bit older. Hopefully Boruto has a beard, you know how it goes. But regardless, I like it. Real stuff real quick. All right, so the arc, it was rumored to start very soon. Now, the anime right now, we don't fully know what they're doing. I understand that there's probably going to be a Chocho episode, or there was a Chocho episode, and of course Konohama's probably going to have an episode. So they're essentially doing episodes after episodes, these small little episodes. And of course, this right here is nothing new to Boruto. Boruto has always been doing things like this, mainly because in between the big arcs, in between the series arcs, you need a couple episodes to kind of lighten the mood. And I think that right there is what the Boruto anime is doing as of right now. So I mean, after that, it's definitely possible for them to eventually start this Cold Actuation arc. And of course, if they start that Cold Actuation arc, I think the Boruto anime is probably going to eventually be a lot more popular than the Boruto manga. Hypothetically, if there is no time skip, like let's say for the next 6 months, and of course the time skip comes in 6 months, the next 6 months might be the Boruto anime's time. Like, it legitimately might be the Boruto anime's time to actually take over. Hopefully that is the case, because I remember every single time the Boruto anime is particularly on top, that's when the whole entire series of Boruto is on top. But as I said a bit earlier into the actual video, there's supposed to be an announcement very soon. The announcement itself is probably not necessarily going to be insane. What I'm expecting is trailers. I'm expecting other things and other side announcements from the July 17th event. I'm looking for things like this, the opening, to actually show us things about the actual arc. I'm looking for other things, like for example, there's a time where we got to see a trailer of Boruto versus Kawaki before Kawaki was even introduced. So hopefully we get to see some things along the lines of that. Hopefully we get to see Code versus Kawaki or Boruto versus Kawaki trailer. That would be absolutely insane. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. It's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.